fixed up my heart, baby. When we started this band, all we needed was a laugh. Years gone by, I'd say we kicked some nails. When nothing raised, you're hitting the stage, you're trying to think from the thumb on veins, and I'd say we're still kicking ass. Said, oh, kicks up a heart, get fast on and a fake. When said, oh, that's the rock. Kicks up a heart, give it a start.
Hello out there. Just getting set up here. Thank you all for joining us here on the Faded Blue Line today. Again, we're still experimenting on different times, different days. Figured I'd give the weekend guys a little love here. So you guys are out there working right now, night shift or afternoon or swing shift or whatever it may be for your shift here on this lovely Saturday. Welcome to the broadcast. I am your host, Brandon Roberts, one of the authors of the Evading Honesty book and the creator of the Swipe and Swap system. So today we got a little bit of a show for you. I prepared a little bit better than normal. We're going to do the typical law enforcement news here in a little bit, but we will be we will be talking about parcel interdiction. Something that a lot of people don't work. Very few people work parcel, just like very few people work the commercial vehicles. Figure it'd be a good topic. You know, a lot of just like with the swipe and swap system, there's a lot of people who work areas that may not be great for working interdiction. When it comes to the highway, maybe you're not allowed up on the interstate. Maybe you don't have a good highway that connects to anything that comes through. Maybe you just don't have the time. No support from your agency. There's many things. Things like swipe and swap and parcel interdiction may be your way to get that fix of finding stuff in interdiction that you want. So today we're going to talk a little bit about parcel. I see people are starting to tune in. I appreciate that, guys. Make sure you can either get in and give me a text chat here on the Faded Blue Line YouTube chat, or you could go ahead and click that Discord link. Get on Discord. There is a text chat channel called the Faded Blue Line. And if you go on either one and let me know, if you get on the Discord and let me know you want to go on air, I will drag you down to the voice chat and you'll be able to get on the show and we can have a talk. It makes it a lot better when I got multiple people to talk to. So, all right. So let's see here. Law enforcement news today. Let's get on here and see what's going on. 4 hours ago, Florida, of course, like usual. I don't know why this thing keeps going off. Turn off notifications. There we go. All right. So in Florida, why every time I talk about news with law enforcement, I swear it's always Florida. All right, so Florida children rescued after driver crashes into pond while fleeing deputies, and that was in Pasco County. So he was fleeing deputies, crashed the car with two children in the back seat, and the deputies jump in and rescue the kids. So good for those guys. That's awesome. It's a shame that people will run over or run from the cops with the kids in the back. I couldn't even imagine doing that. All right, so let's see here. California man charged with crashing drone into LAPD helicopter. Said the suspect was using a drone to see what was going on during a burglary call and crashed it into the LAPD helicopter. So hopefully nobody got hurt on that one. Doesn't say. You'd think that if it went down, it would have something on there about that. And with how small drones are, if the helicopter can't take an impact from those little things, they might want to reconsider flying. So let's see. It says Dallas Police Department is linked to Texas man accused of killing his girlfriend's father to 3 other unrelated slayings, and they believe he may be a serial killer. So that's interesting. Let's see here. Trying to find some other interesting stuff and try to make it not out of Florida, since Florida seems to be most of the news we talk about here when it comes to police news for some reason. Let's see here. Justice Department schedules 3 executions of inmates, federal inmates, before Biden takes office. A Virginia lawyer is facing sex trafficking charges of minors. Apparently, he had at least 6 girls and promised to be their sugar daddy. Alright. Fresno County Sheriff Margaret Mims says she would not penalize and would not be enforcing Governor Gavin Newsom's coronavirus curfew, and that she is stating she will not make criminals out of law-abiding citizens. Thank you, Sheriff Margaret Mims. Let's give her a round of applause. That should be the case across the entire country of these people trying to dictate everything that people do in their own homes, using this under the guise of coronavirus. That is good for her, and I think there's another, if I'm correct, another sheriff in California who's doing the same thing right now and refusing to serve anything regarding the coronavirus, the new restrictions that Governor Newsom has put out for Thanksgiving. And they're saying they are just refusing at this point to do any of this because it's gotten out of control. So good for them. Glad to see that's going on. Alright, let's see here. Alright, there's nothing really else. I think we caught all the newest stuff. An update: the Lavernia, Tennessee police canine who was shot 3 times that we talked about an episode or 2 ago that went to emergency surgery. The dog is now listed in stable condition, so that's great. Awesome. Glad to hear that the dog is pulling through on that one. Alright, so that seems to be all the news that I could find that is new. So, as promised, we will talk about PARCEL interdiction today. The last episode we talked about swipe and swap stuff, and we brought some guys in. We brought in Peter Butler, who is Mississippi DOT, to talk about things that DOT can do to help you, a road guy or any patrol type person, how beneficial it is to have a good relationship with DOT, because they can definitely help you out a lot. So today we will be covering the parcel side of things. I do not teach parcel. Billy Jones is who I learned from. Billy used to work over there in Augusta, Georgia. I believe he is now somewhere outside of Augusta, and he was the one. Excuse me, man. I'm sorry about that. And I have to work tonight. I'm going to do some swipe and swap action tonight. So I flew out to Augusta, Georgia, to learn how to do parcel interdiction from Billy, because Billy is one of the best you can find. And we he taught me the ins and outs of it. We went through a little presentation at his office, and then from there we went to UPS and FedEx and did what they call the sort. So the sort is when boxes come in. All right, so let's rewind this. When we're talking FedEx, and I'm going to talk about FedEx a lot tonight or today because FedEx is what I work. Um, you have your three main parcel companies. You got U.S. Postal Service, which is actually a federal government entity. You have UPS, and you have FedEx. If you were to break it down into who has the most mail, by far the U.S. Postal Service has the most packages, parcels that go through the system. Next would be UPS, and then I believe FedEx has about 20% of what UPS has. So FedEx is the smaller of the three, and I get overwhelmed sometimes with FedEx because it's just when you get to a sort facility, it is out of control. Um, so the UPS facility is outside of my jurisdiction, so I do not go to the UPS sort. I could probably go down there, but I don't. So FedEx has multiple divisions, and people don't seem to understand. They don't realize that FedEx is actually not every time you see a FedEx truck, it's not necessarily FedEx. Um, so FedEx Express, if you see the purple and orange truck, logo trucks that say FedEx Express, those are airmail. That is your next day, overnight mails, 2-day mail stuff that comes by air. And FedEx Express is the workers, the drivers you see are actual FedEx employees. They have been vetted. They've had the backgrounds and all that stuff to work directly for FedEx. So they are usually they're decent people. They're cooperative, but they're very strict on those people as far as times and how quickly they have to do things and how much time they have to make a particular delivery and all this stuff. And anybody who's seen the movie Castaway, you can remember at the very beginning, it has Tom Hanks. He is, I think, in Russia, and he is trying to help them with a sort. And I guess the truck breaks down or something breaks, and they're out in the streets, sorting the packages, and they're on a clock. That is really how it is when it comes to FedEx. Uh, Everything is timed very, very strictly. So um, these people don't have a whole lot of time to sit and talk to you. So if you ever go talk to one of the drivers, don't take up too much of their time because they do get in trouble if they don't meet their goals. So FedEx Express is your airmail. That's the stuff that comes via airplane um, to your local facilities, and it would be a FedEx Express sort facility. Uh, Ground and Express do not share facilities. Now, FedEx Ground is a totally different monster. FedEx Ground is where most of their packages come through. Express is a much smaller amount of packages because it's far more expensive to send it by plane. So FedEx Ground is just your typical somebody mailing something by FedEx, and it comes by truck. So FedEx Ground drivers and sort facility workers are contract workers. They're not actually FedEx employees. Now the management and the people at the facility are FedEx employees, but the people doing the sort, who are sorting packages, and the people who are delivering the packages are contractors. They don't necessarily go through the same scrutiny that a FedEx Express person would go through. So um, it's a lot easier for bad apples to slip into the ground game, if that makes sense. Uh, Ones who would be involved in the actual shipping of things or whatnot. So now that you kind of know the difference between the main two FedEx things, Express and Ground, um, let me tell you how it works. When it comes to FedEx Express, somebody uh, somebody drops off a package at a express facility. They pay for the overnight or the second day airmail fee. That package gets loaded up into this giant aluminum box with other packages and likely gets sent to the nearest express facility. Um, from there, it gets taken to the nearest airport, in these giant pods with hundreds, if not thousands, of other boxes. And they get loaded on airplanes, FedEx Express airplanes. Those planes generally fly into Memphis, Tennessee. That's where their main hub is. And from there, those pods are unloaded out of the plane, and from there, they resort those packages, and basically those packages, the computers decide uh, which plane these packages need to go on to get to their final destination, and they get sorted out and put in new aluminum pods and loaded into different planes to go to the nearest city to where they're being delivered. And they land at that facility, they get loaded up in a semi, and they get taken to the closest FedEx Express sort facility. Now, when you go into a sort facility, Express specifically, typically it is a long building with a giant conveyor belt that runs right down the center. Just one giant conveyor belt. On one end of the building, the trucks will park, and they offload those giant pods onto this basically this bay, and from there, the sort begins, and you have people who are unloading those giant pods, all the boxes out of them, onto the conveyor belt. The next step in that process is there are people with these little like scanning machines that print labels. They will scan that package, and it will print a label which tells it what truck it needs to go into. Then it goes on down the line, and there are people there that are sorting those packages based on what side of the belt the truck is on that package needs to go on. And then you have your drivers all backed up to the belt, and they're grabbing the packages that are numbered and labeled for their truck, and they put it into their truck and ready for delivery. So that's how the FedEx Express system works. Now, when it comes to ground, especially if you have a major facility, it's a huge, huge building with multiple bays for semis to back up to trailers. Those bays, I think the facility I usually work has 24 bays, 26 bays, something like that. It's got a lot of bays. And each one of those bays has a conveyor belt that actually extends into the truck itself, into the trailer. And um, that though let's say you have 24 bays, 12 of those bays are incoming parcel, 12 of them would be outgoing parcel. um, so if it's split in half, one side of the building is your incoming mail, the other half is your outgoing mail. So you stand there, they put these conveyor belts in the truck, and you got one or two people in there offloading this truck, and they're throwing it onto this conveyor belt, which is taking it up to like a second floor, where it goes on another conveyor belt, and it goes down to this machine that basically reads all the six sides of the package. And when it sees it's basically a laser, and when it scans and sees where this package is supposed to go, when it gets down the belt to the proper belt for outgoing, it'll smack it. It has these little arms, almost like an old pinball machine, and it'll smack that package down the chute and it will go down to another conveyor belt, and it'll either go to the outgoing trucks that are going to another sort facility or to the outgoing mail that are going to the trucks that are delivering here locally. It's a very fast-paced, very chaotic scene, but UPS and FedEx have mastered that stuff. They have it going so fast and so good. Um, I, Working FedEx, I have the most respect for those people who do FedEx and UPS because they are some hard working people. And I promise you, if you ever get into parcel, you will see just how tough these people are and how hard they work. And it will make you feel like you are a sissy because they work harder than almost anybody I've ever seen in my life. And out of respect for them, because I'm there on their turf, and they're letting me in there to do the stuff. I help them when I'm on the conveyor belt. I'm actually helping them, whether it be sorting the boxes to what side of the belt they need to go to, or if I'm at the ground facility and they got mail coming out of or packages coming out of a big truck to go up the conveyor belt, oversized packages, hazmat packages, stuff like that go on a different belt, and it is hand scanned because they don't want it to hit that little. They don't want those little arms to hit it. So I'll help them do that so that they don't have to come out of the truck, and they really appreciate it. It goes a very long way with these people when you give them a hand. So now that you know how it actually works, um, the first thing I can tell you when it comes to parcel is think of it this way, and this is what I've discovered. Probably 90 to 95% of the packages coming through the mail are business mail. It's business to business or it's business to consumer. Somebody has purchased something, whether it be a business purchasing product for their business, or parts for a business, or it's a person has bought something off of a website from a business for their personal use. And most of those packages, the boxes have the company name on them. The label will have the company name like printed on it custom with it's not just, it doesn't just have it typed on there. It's actually like their logo is printed on it. And for the most part, I ignore those because that if you ignore that, you narrow it down to other things, person to person mail versus business to consumer or business to business mail. So I'm targeting the person to person mail because I'm narrowing it down to my odds are a lot better versus looking at 50,000 boxes coming through. I'm now narrowing it down to 500. And that gives you a lot better of an idea of what to look for. And when you think of it that way, you got to understand that these people who are shipping stuff through FedEx, they have to have a box from somewhere. So if you're watching this on YouTube, I just put a picture up of a box that I seized dope out of. If you look at this particular box on the screen, this box is very plain. There's no company logos on it. It's actually got a handwritten FedEx label on it, which is not very common. You don't see that very often. But what you see about this box is it's got no distinguishing marks of it being a business to business or a business to consumer box. This is just a plain Jane box that somebody could have went and bought at a shipping store. And then if you look at the tape is very poorly put on there. Typically, when you're dealing with businesses, they are very professional on how they tape up their boxes. Either a machine does it, or the people who work in their shipping department have taped up boxes so long and so many times that they do it very professionally. This box is very poorly taped. So when I'm looking at this box as it's coming down, I'm looking at 20 boxes go by every 10 seconds, if not more. And I'm looking and I'm seeing they're all business, 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 and then I spot this box and I go, no logos, no distinguishing marks, really crappy um, tape job. I'll grab that box, I will pull it down and kind of get a better look at it. Now, what I'm looking at is where's it coming from, where's it going, and I'm looking at the tracking number. Uh, Companies who, if it's a company mail or it's an established business or somebody who ships a lot of things, um, typically the tracking number is going to start with a 4, and that means that they have an account with FedEx. They have a shipping account, um, and they will have a 4. The other boxes that are not, um, it's basically somebody brought it to a shipping place, just random person. They don't have a FedEx account. They usually start with a 7 or like an 8. So I'm looking at these things. So in this particular case, I don't remember this one, but let's just say it's the tracking starts with a 7. Now, obviously, this is a handwritten FedEx shipping label, which is not common at all, not anymore at least. But I see it's a 7. That tells me that this was a box that was dropped off at a FedEx shipping store or shipping place to be shipped by a person. Then I'm looking at where's it coming from, where's it going. In my particular cases, usually both ground and express, I see a lot of stuff coming from Washington, Oregon, California, Colorado, Nevada, that are dope. Um, so I'm looking for where's it coming from, and if it's coming from one of those locations, it's really going to capture my attention. Now, what captures my attention even more is if the shipping address is the same as the receiver's address. So Joe Blow from 11 Main Street, San Antonio, shipped to Joe Blow, 11 Main Street, San Antonio. So I'm like, huh. That's when I break out my nifty phone and I will use, like, FedEx has an app that allows you to track packages. You just scan the package, the tracking label, with your phone, just your camera, and you can literally see up to date tracking information. And you can look at the history of where this package came from and where it's been. So I will see a lot of times, and let's rewind this a little bit. A lot of people will fly. They'll take those little $50 flights with Southwest or Allegiant Air or whatever from anywhere around the country to Washington, Oregon, California, Las Vegas, Colorado to purchase drugs and mail it back to themselves so that when they fly back, they get home and the next day they got a box full of drugs. So they don't have a shipping address, like a shipper's address, other than their own. And I see this constantly. They will fly out to, say, Colorado. I will scan the package because it shows Joe Blow, 11 Main Street, San Antonio, as the shipper and the receiver. I'll scan the tracking, and it'll say that it originated from Denver, Colorado, or Colorado Springs, Colorado, or Seattle, Washington, or Portland, Oregon, or something like that. And immediately I know, huh, this is probably going to be a dope box. Um, so that kind of gives you an idea of how I'm looking at these boxes. So let me show you another box. Here's another one. As you can tell, this is a plain Jane box, no company logos on it. It's got a piece of paper printed logo on the top, or I'm sorry, shipping document on the top. So they actually printed this at home. It's not, when FedEx does the paper for you, or the shipping label, it comes out on a you know perfectly sized sticker, and they slap it to the box. People who ship or print the labels from home because they don't want to spend much time at the FedEx store will, or they want to just drop it off in the box outside or whatever it may be. It'll be on a piece of paper and they'll fold it over. So in this particular case, it was a piece of paper, and as you can see, look how poorly the tape is. It's done very poorly. And this one, I don't remember exactly where this one was from, or I almost guarantee you this one was. I could tell by I'm looking at what's behind the box. This is the ground facility, and when I go to ground, I typically ask the supervisor, "Hey, where's the Denver truck, or where's the Colorado trucks, where's the Washington trucks?" what time are they getting to the bay, and all that kind of stuff. And I'll stand there. So I guarantee you this box came from Colorado. So here's another example. This is a FedEx Express box. Where do you think they get that? FedEx Express. They go get boxes because they need boxes. You know, they either have to buy a box, whether it be a FedEx box, a plain Jane box from some shipping store, or they go to Walmart or Lowe's and buy those boxes you can buy for moving, which are very easy to see when they're coming down the line because they'll have the the boxes usually say like medium box on them or large box. They're very easy to spot. Or they reuse a box, and we'll talk about reusing a box and how to identify that in a little bit. Um, so in this particular case, we're looking at a FedEx box. Very easy to spot. They're white boxes and they say FedEx on them. That tells you they got this box from the FedEx store. Just like when you walk into the post office and they have the boxes there for you to use for express mail, FedEx has the same stuff. And in this particular case, all right, so these FedEx boxes, when you fold the flap over, it's got a little pull thing and it has its own sticky on it. In this one, why did they tape all the seams up? That's what caught my attention on this one. Why did they tape the seams up? So again, I would see something like this. I'll pull it off. I'll look at the label, and the label. This is going to be a ground. No, this is at Express. This one I believe came from Oregon or Washington. I don't remember which one. I think this one was Oregon, and it was shipping locally. And so I see it's coming from a known source area. It's packaged up a particular way to tape up the seams, and it captures my attention. This is how I pull this box out. Let's look at another one. Here we go with another FedEx box. Same story. The box is a FedEx box, which tells me that somebody got this box from the FedEx store, and all the edges are taped up, which is uncommon. The normal shipper goes in there, they put the stuff in the box at the store, and they close the box, they pull off the little stuff for the tape, and it seals the box right there, and then you can put it right in the mail. So this is somebody who took this box home and loaded the box and then taped the seams. So it catches my attention. I'm looking for just like with anything else, I'm looking for things that are odd, that don't, that don't, hold on one second, that don't fit the normal profile of what I see. All right, so let me show you some examples of the things you can easily find in your FedEx facilities. All right, here's edibles. These are a bunch of edibles that came from California and were shipping through ground to the San Antonio or Houston area. I don't remember which one this one is, but pound wise, I think this was about 10 pounds of marijuana. I mean, it's THC products. If it were actual, here in the state of Texas, anything with THC derivative is a higher charge than plant-based marijuana. So these particular cases, this if I were to do a controlled delivery on this, it was somebody in my jurisdiction or whatnot, they could potentially be charged with a heavier crime than if they shipped 10 pounds of marijuana to themselves. So this is one of the examples of what you can get out of your local facility. And I see this stuff a lot. A lot of the THC products are diverted from these legal states in Washington, Oregon, California, Colorado, Nevada, and they are diverted outside of their state to other states. In my case, Texas, where it is not legal. And I actually made a contact yesterday with an agent from the Washington State, I think it's Alcohol and Cannabis Board. He's a special agent for them. It's like Texas has what they call TABC, which is the Alcoholic Beverage Commission. They're special agents that make sure everybody's following the rules when they sell alcohol, not selling to minors, that kind of stuff. And taxes are being paid, all that kind of stuff. Same thing in the state of Washington. They have special agents who make sure, and what he told me is basically it is legal for them to have marijuana, sell marijuana, manufacture marijuana, products, and all that kind of stuff. However, part of their licensing to do so, they have to basically tag every plant, just like you would tag cattle or tag, deer you shot or turkeys or whatever. Um, and they have to be able to account for every plant. And when they're diverting this stuff outside the state, they're not only not able to, it's usually stuff that's coming from products that are not accounted for, but they're also not paying their taxes. So they have tax violations, they have diverting it outside the state violations, and they also have money laundering. So he is wanting to work with me to get some of these guys taken down over there in Washington. And it's awesome that we have that opportunity. So make friends with people in those states. If you can reach out to their boards that handle the marijuana stuff, they're more likely have some kind of program where they can come after these guys for diverting. Because it's really hard for me to get um, charges on people here locally. Because a lot of the boxes I intercept are actually not coming locally to my jurisdiction. They're actually going elsewhere throughout the state. So let me show you another box or another load. Here's another one. Um, this one, I do not remember how much it weighed. It was, I want to say 6 pounds, 5 or 6 pounds. And it's dabs. It's THC wax, all in these little dab jars, basically. It was a ton of them. There's probably 100 of them in there. This one was seized at Express. So in this particular case, uh, we have roughly 5 6 pounds of THC wax, and THC wax is extremely potent and extremely expensive. Um, I was told it takes about a pound of hydro to make uh, a gram or two of THC wax. Uh, the dabs, like the dab itself, the 1 gram of dab is equivalent to like a pound of hydro. That's what it takes to create that much wax. So this stuff is very valuable. And if you're watching on the screen, that's what this is. This is dabs, um, which are usually used to create uh, vape cartridges or edibles, that kind of stuff. So when you see this stuff, that's usually what it's for. Let's see what I got next. Here's some more edibles. This wasn't very much. I think it's maybe a pound or two of edibles. And just as you can see in the background, that is a FedEx box. That is a box that they got from FedEx. Now, FedEx has your white boxes, but at the ground facilities, they also have these brown boxes that say FedEx on them. But when you see these boxes, it tells you more than likely this is a person who came to FedEx and got boxes to package stuff to ship to somebody else. Um, Now, you can also see these with FedEx tape on them. And if you see them with FedEx tape on them, that means they went to the FedEx, the copy stores that they have. Um, and those people, when they have the FedEx tape on them, uh, the FedEx workers are the ones who actually packaged that box. They loaded it for them and they taped it up. I think in this particular case, a FedEx worker actually loaded this box. If I'm correct, this one had FedEx tape on it, which tells me that the person from the FedEx store actually loaded this box full of this stuff. So let's move on to another one here. Here's another box full of edibles, and I think there's vape cartridges in this one. Um, Same thing. Tons and tons of THC products are diverted outside of these legal states to your area. I promise you, FedEx, UPS, and the Postal Service are the biggest drug traffickers in your area. Guaranteed. Um, Tons and tons. It is nothing for me. Every single picture I've shown you, I could probably get that much every single night going to FedEx ground. And, almost daily, if not every couple days at FedEx Express. So I seem to get a lot more THC products from Colorado and all those in ground. I get the dabs and the really expensive stuff on Express. Um, so these are the things that you can find. Now, remember at the beginning of the podcast, I told you guys about uh, flying out to Augusta, Georgia to actually learn from the best, from Billy Jones. I'm going to show you what we found that day. Oh, excuse me. This was on Billy Jones's car. That's 15 pounds, I believe. I think it was 15 pounds, 15 or 20 pounds of hydro that was in a box, just in a box. And Billy, I was just getting used to trying to learn how the system even worked. I was overwhelmed by the boxes. Once you start working them, it becomes very easy to pick out the boxes. And Billy's just sitting there looking, and he goes, "There it is." And I'm like, "What?" And the box is 10 feet away from us coming down the belt, and he's like, "That's it. That's going to be a load." I'm like, "No." And he pulled it off, and he goes, "Yep, it's a load." And we got in it, and there it is. I think it was 15 or 20 pounds of hydro marijuana. I don't remember where it was coming from, but this is the stuff that comes through every single sort facility every day, all day, in your parcel facilities. Um, Obviously, this is not training. I'm not here to teach you specifics on what I do and how I do it. I'm not teaching you what you can and can't do as far as laws and rules. I will tell you can't just walk into a FedEx or UPS facility and just start working. That's not how it works. You actually have to get permission through their corporate security. They have to vet you. You have to sign all kinds of stuff, read a bunch of stuff, and then you usually will have to work a little bit with their corporate security people until they trust you and realize that you're not an idiot. And then they will let you just come and go as you wish. Most of them. Sometimes you got to call them and say, "Hey, I'm on my way," or whatever, um, and check in with them every once in a while. But that's how it works. Same thing with UPS. UPS might be a little stricter, I believe. I don't remember exactly how UPS does it because I work in FedEx. Now, U.S. Postal Service is a whole new monster of its own because it's federal. You cannot go in there and work that mail unless you are in the presence working with um, a postal inspector. So you have to actually make friends with your postal inspector to make it work. And they have to be the ones who open the package. And it becomes a little cumbersome sometimes to get that whole process going. So, hopefully this helped everybody out. I've had zero interaction today from the people in the chat. Nobody's chatting. Nobody is texting on the Discord. I was kind of hoping we get some questions. If you guys have any questions, type them in the YouTube chat or get on the Discord with me and let's talk. I can answer some questions and hopefully help you guys find a new way to interdict stuff because you're missing a lot of stuff. If you're only focusing on your highway and you're not having a whole lot of success, you need to expand your horizons. I mean, we're talking you have semis you could be working and looking for swipe and swap. You have parcels you can be working. You have diesel thieves you can be working. You have counterfeit goods you can be working, and I have cases of that I can show on another episode. And that is really interesting stuff. When you're talking about trademark piracy and all that kind of stuff, it is really interesting how that stuff kind of works. There's so much out there you can get into, and I will tell you a little secret about the intellectual property investigations. Some of these companies, Versace, Coach, Louis Vuitton, all these things, at least they used to. I don't know right now. Um, if you contacted them and reached out to them saying, "Hey, I would like to be trained on how to spot fakes," some of these companies will either send somebody to teach you or they will fly you to places like New York City, LA, foreign countries to teach you because they really, really like when law enforcement is helping them out because they lose a ton of money from these fakes. Um, and they don't want those fakes out there. So they love the fact that you guys are wanting to help. At least they did years ago. I have not reached out to any of them in a long time, but they are willing to help you. There is also it should still be out there. I'm not positive on that, but there is a university based out of France. I don't remember the name of it right off the top of my head. I'll have to get that for you guys later. But they have an online. It's a completely free program funded through Interpol, and it's funded by numerous companies who have intellectual property stuff. You can literally get an entire degree online for free through this university um, in intellectual property, and it teaches you all the stuff about intellectual property, copyright laws, how to identify certain things. It's really cool. I had started the program and never finished it. Just got busy and forgot about it. Probably should get back on there and do that. So I will try to get that link for you guys on another day and see if I can get that out there to you guys if you're interested in possibly getting a degree in intellectual property rights stuff, investigations for free. All right, so since nobody's really chatting, I'm going to be getting off here momentarily. Before I go, here is the Swipe and Swap discount code that is available until December 8th. You get 20% off at ossfirst.com on Swipe and Swap online. It is on demand, so you don't have to sit there and wait for me. You can take it anytime. You can log off, log back on. You can just keep taking it over and over again and review it anytime. The discount code is on your screen. If I shut it off before you get it written down, just go back and watch this YouTube video again, and you'll be able to use that code until December 8th. So Swipe and Swap online. Don't forget, Evading Honesty is online as well. And you got Smugglers Inc. 2.0. I think it's 2.0 on there now. And I don't know if he's put the cover alibis on there or not. So again, I'm going to go through the loads real quick just so you can see the kinds of stuff you can, since today's episode was about parcel. These are the things that you can get working your local parcel facility, your sort facility if you have one, that are coming through the mail every day to every city across the United States. It doesn't matter how big or how small. I promise you this stuff is coming through the mail and it is in your area. The U.S. Postal Service, UPS, and FedEx are some of the biggest drug movers in the United States, and they don't even realize they are. Well, they probably know, but let's just say it's kind of it's better for everybody to just pretend that it doesn't happen than to admit that there's a problem in the mail. So these are the kinds of things you can find working parcel. Again, we're not talking about how I find the boxes. I mean, I kind of gave you a rundown of what I'm generally looking for. I don't exactly tell you how I pick the boxes, but I kind of told you the general idea of how I view the boxes, what catches my attention. It does it. That's just step one of many steps of how I narrow down a box. I explained why the boxes are important, how the sort facilities work, and showed you just a few of many seizures I've made from parcels, and it's huge. I had to stop seizing. I had to stop going to FedEx probably early this year, is late last year or early this year, because we literally ran out of room in our evidence room for any more drugs. I literally could not seize any more because we were overflowing with drugs seized from the mail, and it's that bad. I promise you. Every time I go to a sort facility, it is nothing for me to come back with 15, 20 pounds of contraband every single time. It's that bad. So if nobody has any questions, I will be getting off here. Hopefully, you guys enjoyed the show, and we will see you again soon. I'm gonna leave you again with some good '80s remakes from Halocene and Daria Zaritskaya, I think is her name. Um, fantastic covers these two do. They're awesome, and they're definitely not bad to look at. So, highly recommend you look up Sershin and Zaritskaya on YouTube and Halocene, Halocene, and I will share the links later on. Take it easy, guys.